21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
My name is Emellie O'Brien. I am the founder and CEO of Earth Angel. Earth Angel is a sustainable production agency working with feature films and television series to help them track their carbon footprint and reduce their environmental impact. We work in the very niche intersection of sustainability and the creative sectors. I have personally been doing this work since 2011. It all started for me when I graduated from New York University's Tisch School of the Arts. I studied film and television, and I wanted to help create socially and environmentally conscious content. I thought I would become a documentary filmmaker. That was sort of why I went to film school. Shortly after graduating, I realized that the actual process of producing this content is extremely wasteful. You know, we construct all of these big film sets and then we tear them down and throw them into a dumpster. We run diesel generators all day to power these sets. We feed hundreds and hundreds of people, and so much of that food gets thrown out every day. Wastefulness upon wastefulness about working in this sort of circus-like industry. And I just really thought to myself, I don't want to be part of this problem. You know, this is not how I want to work. And so I started to do my research. I realized that there were some resources that existed. One of the main ones being the Green Production Guide. And this was sort of like a best practices list to help filmmakers be more sustainable in their day-to-day practices, whether that's opting for more energy efficient lighting or implementing composting and recycling initiatives on set, choosing more sustainably sourced products, things like that. And I basically approached a producer and I convinced him to hire me on my very first film set in the summer of 2011 to green his production. And I was brand new at this, and it was really a trial and error experience. You know, I started with the low-hanging fruit. We eliminated single-use plastic water bottles. We started to integrate recycling and composting programs. We tried to switch to rechargeable batteries, like little things like that. And basically, out of my experience working on this film production, more productions started calling me. They said, "Hey, I heard what you did on this set. Can you come do it on my set?" And so I freelanced as a sustainability coordinator on productions for several years. And then I worked on The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in 2013. And The Amazing Spider-Man 2 got a lot of press for being Sony's most eco-friendly blockbuster in their history. And that was kind of when the wheels started turning for me, and I started to think about, well, maybe there's a business model here. Maybe, instead of having Earth Angel was my nickname, by the way, that I got when I was working on film sets. That's where the name originated. People called me a lot of other not nice things on film sets, but that was the nice thing. Why? Because I was helping them change their habits, and a lot of people don't like changing their habits. So, I got called some not nice things, of course, along the way, but Earth Angel was what stuck. It's what people called me on the walkie-talkie, and it was, very, prevalently heard. So when I was trying to figure out, how do I scale this from taking it from being just one Earth Angel on one film set, but many Earth Angels on many film sets, I decided to create the company and call it Earth Angel. So that started in 2013 for me, but it was really challenging because there wasn't really a market demand for this service yet. It was still very one-off productions here and there, early adopter producers who were willing to kind of take a risk and implement green initiatives on their sets. So I still kind of solopreneured for the first couple of years, just trying to educate and get, raise the demand for the service. But 2015 is when I hired my first employee. We started juggling multiple projects at a time, and it's been slowly building and growing ever since then. And now we have 15 employees. We're based in 4 key markets in North America: New York, Los Angeles, Atlanta, and Toronto. So we have seen enormous growth, and more of the industry is understanding the value of running their operations more sustainably. Crew members appreciate it. It helps the bottom line. And so we've seen a lot of really good success with that.
Regarding yourself, did you have your own personal growth as well?
Absolutely. I mean, I think personally, as an entrepreneur, a lot of it was kind of overcoming my imposter syndrome. I started this company when I was 24. So I was very young and, a female in the film industry. And there's still a lot of challenges and a boys club mentality with a lot of productions that you work on. Trying to overcome that doubt on, being told no so many times, but believing that there is something here, this is worthwhile, people will consider this to be valuable. Our planet, it only has a finite amount of resources. Every industry has to figure out how they're going to produce their product or provide their service sustainably, or you're not going to have a business. That's just the reality of living now in the 21st century, and trying to operate, navigate these shifts in our economy.
For you, being a woman in that particular boys club, what kind of personality traits do you think you need to have as an entrepreneur? And other women that will go in the same direction, having their own companies and working on a boys club platform?
I think as a woman working in a boys club atmosphere, you certainly need a level of thick skin and perseverance, knowing that you're not going to win them all, and that's okay. And also, there are some clients that are not worth working with either. I think that was a big lesson, that it's okay to say no sometimes, which I know as an entrepreneur is a really hard thing, right? You have business, you never want to turn away business, but there are those troublesome clients they're more trouble than they're worth at the end of the day too. So that was a big lesson that I had to learn. And the culture has shifted and is shifting a lot in our industry. Obviously we saw the Me Too movement really shake things up, and not to say that it's perfect and better. There's still a long ways to go, but there's a real reckoning now with the way the power dynamic in our industry. And it has a history for being a very exploitative industry, exploitative of labor, exploitative of resources, lots of different elements that I think it's having a really deep reckoning with in these past few years. So I'm optimistic that those shifts are pointing us in a stronger, more sustainable direction ultimately.
How do you cope with negative energies? Do you have any daily routine, specific mindset, meditate? Or...
Yeah, good question. Yeah, my yoga practice is really important to me when it comes to coping with negativity. The other thing that I think is really important is like finding that tribe and that community of support as well. I'm really grateful and blessed to have such an incredible team. I don't do this work by myself. I do it with the support and, sweat of a lot of other people. And so, having that collaborative team environment is really important to me. And, it makes all the difference when it comes to tackling the negativity.
Let's go into that direction regarding the business model topic and how to scale this. So you have collaborative team. Do you have any constraints regarding leverage potential? So there are 15 of you guys and you're on 4 markets. So if you have any, internal organizational culture that you want to share with audience, any learning processes, transformation processes.
Absolutely. Yeah. In terms of our internal organizational culture, we established core values really early on as a company, which have really helped guide us. So some of which are transparency is the key to accountability. Criticism equals opportunity. Really about showing like humility and growth. There's always ways that we can learn and grow from each other. We never stop learning. People and planet above profit. That's a controversial one for a business to have as its core value, but it's a really important core value to me because we have to walk the walk of what we're doing. And so those things are really important. Other aspects that we try to do are like team building activities once a month, whether that's like having a guest speaker come in and talk to the whole team about a certain topic. Like for May, we had Mental Health Awareness Month and, mindfulness exercises and whatnot that we put forth. Or now for November being Indigenous Peoples Month, we're going to have someone come in and talk about creative decolonization and lots of, creative ways that we can learn and grow and work together as a team. And sometimes we just do fun stuff together too. Like that's important. Anytime we wrap one of our productions, we do a wrap dinner celebration and we take the whole team out and, celebrate our achievements too. So all of those things I think are really important to cultivating a strong company culture. In my opinion, if many businesses just behaved responsibly, conducted business in a way that did not exploit natural resources, that did not participate in a linear economy, a take, make, dispose economy, we wouldn't need a lot of the nonprofits that we have. So I think that we have to stop perpetuating this dichotomy of you can only make money or you can only do good. Doing good work is valuable work, and people deserve to be compensated for the value of their skills and their knowledge and the work that they're doing, right? So I think that the key really is to start to shift into how are businesses going to, approach the triple bottom line philosophy, right? So not just the traditional bottom line of profit, but also looking at people and looking at planet. And those are the businesses that are going to sustain themselves in the decades to come. And if businesses can't figure out how to do that, I think no amount of donating to nonprofits is going to undo those wrongs. I think that, those business models are not going to be effective business models in decades to come.
Do you feel alone? Is there a movement going on?
There is a movement. Obviously there's a huge movement for climate action. As you see with the youth climate movement and lots of people speaking out against this. But it's also, there's a growing movement within my sector, within film and television and the production industry. There's a lot of people working on this issue now. Before, there weren't that many, but there's more and more every day, and regional groups that are cropping up that are trying to address this. So yeah, I think I'm really focused on trying to unify and collaborate more with a lot of these groups, and I think a lot of us are, in that same mindset as well.
Where is Emellie in 5 years?
In 5 years, my hope is that Earth Angel is blossoming and thriving. That we have the ability to get all of our projects to net zero. Net zero carbon emissions, that we can deploy technology and we can continue to improve our services so well that there's, a little to no impact on the environment to produce content. I'm hoping it's something that audiences start to pay attention to as well. So in the same way audiences are, or consumers rather, are asking for more sustainable fashion, clothing items, sustainable food, home goods, etc. People are becoming more conscious consumers. I hope audiences start to pay attention to this too and support projects that are produced sustainably with high inclusivity standards, all of those things, that there's ethical movie making and movie watching in the same way there's ethical fashion and other consumption as well.
Your sweetest dream and worst nightmare regarding all those topics?
Oh my, that's quite a question. Okay, sweetest dream. I guess my sweetest dream is that we as a society are able to come together and stop the global temperatures from rising above 1.5 degrees Celsius in time, so that, we don't lose lives due to more natural climate disasters. We're not losing species and biodiversity. That to me is the sweetest dream, that we come together and we tackle this crisis and we treat it like the crisis it is and reimagine a global, thriving, sustainable community together. And I think the worst nightmare is the reverse of that, we don't do it in time and lives are lost unnecessarily. And, that to me would be the biggest nightmare. If you are someone who works in or knows people who work in entertainment, film, television, advertising, live event production, definitely check out our website, earthangelsets.com. That's sets plural. And we are on social media at earthangelsets. Again, that's plural, SETS. So that's one big call to action I would encourage folks to take. If you do also want to get more involved in the climate movement and different sustainable business practices. There's lots of good resources out there. In the US, there's the US Green Business Council. You can follow other climate activist groups like Sunrise Movement, Extinction Rebellion. There's another great group in our industry called Young Entertainment Activists, which I'm on the board of, and highly recommend you check that out. They have some really great content, programming, etc. And I would say just encourage everyone to think about what they're doing, not only in your personal life that you can maybe adjust to be more sustainable, more eco-friendly, but also how can you take your neck of the woods, your little corner of the world, and elevate the conversation around sustainability and climate action, whether that's something in your neighborhood, your community, or it's something in your business, in your industry. Sometimes that's all it takes is one person, and then you'll see how many more people appreciate that this conversation is being had, and some of the small changes you can make to help improve sustainability in your community.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.